Hey guys, how is everyone doing today? Welcome back to a very special video that I had planned to share with you all today. And as you may know, today on November 3rd is officially Godzilla Day, which is a massive franchise by Toho, which is a company in Japan, and I decided that was crazy like Godzilla entire films recap, but that film video would be extremely long and probably last a few hours. But instead, I'm going to focus on a specific Godzilla movie that came out approximately 2 years ago this day in 2023. That film is Godzilla Minus One. And according to like some articles, it is the 37th film in the Godzilla franchise, the 33rd film produced by Toho, and it's also the 5th installment in the franchise's Reiwa era, which is pretty insane. So you guys don't know about Godzilla. Basically, it's basically this huge dinosaur creature that just attacks Tokyo a lot. In some films he's the villain, or other films is like the anti-hero fights off against other monsters that too want to destroy Tokyo and all that stuff. And I wasn't around when the franchise started, but when I got into Godzilla, Hollywood has done it many times. They've either done it successfully, they've done badly, or others just plain. I decided to talk about Godzilla Minus One and how great of a movie this was. And that film was released like 2 years ago this day, like on November 3rd, which is apparently Godzilla Day. So this is like a revitalized film of the Godzilla franchise, almost like the 1950s, which is the first one, and it's like set in post-war Japan, which is when after Japan lost World War II, and the country was slowly recovering after some huge attacks that happened within it, and follows a kamikaze pilot suffering from PTSD, and he encounters this Godzilla, which is like matches the design of like the original 1950s monster, and the way it's like designed is like really fascinating. I love the way of how it just looks like the original monster from the 50s, but there's some extended like CGI put in for it. And when I looked into the budget of this movie, it's like $15 million. Like, that is like pretty cool expensive, because here in the US, the budget for the legendary Godzilla movie is like almost 200 plus. It gets higher, and it's insane. What I find most interesting of how this movie does, it just doesn't reenact the classic Godzilla movie, but it makes you fear it so much. And not to mention, like, the cast of the movie is like pretty fantastic. There's so much human drama or fright, and the way they portray Godzilla, he's not just a designable character. He is like more like terrifying. Like, we are like transported back to 1954 when the original Godzilla was released. And there are so many crazy scenes in the movie that are like jaw-dropping in my opinion. Like, there's like this one scene in the boat where like they try to fight off Godzilla, and it's just terrifying. And the special effects used, especially when Godzilla does his roars and his blasts, especially with the scales just rising up like a supercharged energy, reminds me something of like the 2000s Godzilla stuff, not like the Roland Emmerich ones, but basically around like the Millennium version, which is pretty fascinating. I haven't seen those, but I would totally love to check those out. And the way that this movie was like when it came out, it was a pretty big success. I mean, I'm not from Japan, but when it came out in the US around December of 2023, my dad and I had the chance to go see it, and it was pretty fantastic for both he and I. Great Godzilla movie. And I just find like some of like the storyline pretty okay. There were some moments it felt a bit slow, but there was some real heavy drama. Like, you feel these characters going through so much, and you are there for them. And I'm just like, man, this is like pretty shocking in my opinion. And the way that the way that there's like some characters have great development, especially the main lead. He has pretty great acting. Props to the actor. And it just sees how, like, even in the darkest of times, like this one pilot, kamikaze pilot who couldn't even do anything like during his time in World War II, has a chance to take down a ferocious monster that threatens his country. And it's pretty intense of how it was like shot and done of this storyline. And of course, as I'm like making this video, that there is gonna be a sequel to Godzilla titled Godzilla Minus Zero. And as a fan myself, I'm totally looking forward to that, because not only is was Godzilla Minus One successful, it was just like a massive hit for many fans and stuff. And I have some pretty great news to tell you all know that as of recording this, this second Godzilla movie, Godzilla Minus Zero, will come out next year in an unknown date. But when it does, I am going to be there day one to check it out in the US release. And it'll be pretty fantastic. And I'm so looking forward to it. And I know you guys are. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this movie. And I'm so excited to see how things will go for here. But yeah, and I'm glad you guys really enjoyed this. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on my daily videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.